Good morning, everyone. So glad that you're tuning in with us. I want to say thank you, Jennifer Keane-Lepre, for all that you do for us and for volunteering as a mission champion to talk about a Jesus story in our reflection, our meeting reflection guide. And so, Jennifer, what's the story that you chose?
So it wasn't an easy decision, David, but the one that I picked was the story of the Good Samaritan.
Okay, good.
And this story really moved me for a number of different reasons. But for those of you that may recall, the Good Samaritan story is about how there's an injured man lying by the roadside.
Right.
And members of his own community just chose to walk by him and didn't offer to, stop by and see how they could help, if they could help, except for one person. And
Right.
that person, as we know through this parable, is the Good Samaritan.
Okay. So, Good Samaritan. So that story is full of important information for us to understand. We could do like 15 videos on that. But I'm most interested, Jennifer, on what stands out to you in that story. What's one thing you want everyone in the organization to know about that story?
And there are a lot of good lessons that can come from this particular parable. But the one that I focused on was choosing compassion over your own individual needs.
Okay.
So I found it really sad that here is a member of a community that was in need of help.
Right.
Nobody stopped to help him. Nobody stopped to offer comforting words. And even if they couldn't perhaps clinically help him, nobody even just asked how he was doing or what they could do. Except for that one person.
Right.
But what people should know is that one person was an outsider to the
Okay.
community.
Okay.
And there's a message here that talks about the outsider deciding to assist someone who he is not part of that community.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lesson here about compassion and
Right.
also possibly comfort zones.
Okay. Oh, I like it. Compassion and comfort zones. You're a preacher. You're alliterating a couple of C's. Compassion, comfort zones. Okay, can you tell me a little bit more about the comfort zone part?
Sure. So we don't know why the community members chose not to stop
Right.
and help this person by the roadside. Maybe they were busy. Maybe they felt they couldn't help. Or maybe they didn't know how they could help. Regardless of what their individual reasons were, the parable teaches us that while we are all really busy, sometimes it's really important to just stop, put your own personal agenda aside,
Right.
and see how you can help someone.
Right.
And it talks about comfort as well, because sometimes we're afraid to do things because we don't have a familiarity with it.
Right.
And at the end of the day, we should also learn to go outside of our comfort zone, because even a very small gesture can be very comforting,
Right.
can provide compassion, can
Right.
provide healing.
Right.
And it doesn't take a grandiose gesture,
Right.
but even a small gesture can make a
Right.
huge difference
Okay,
and have an
okay,
impact.
that's awesome, Jennifer. There's 3 questions that I ask everyone I'm interviewing. What's the one thing you want people to know about? We've alliterated. We've got leave your comfort zone, be compassionate, and even small things can make a big difference in someone's
Absolutely.
life. The second thing is, okay, why does Jennifer, what's happening inside of you? This is the reflexive question, right? Because this is about us sharing our personal growth, our integration of the mission into our own lives. So what about that speaks to you? How has this story changed your life?
As a non-clinical person,
Mm-hmm.
and I work with a tremendous team of non-clinical persons, we sometimes wonder, how can we make a difference within the organization? Because we don't provide the amazing bedside care that our
Right.
clinical team does.
Okay.
We don't provide and cook the amazing meals that our residents
Right.
and patients do. We aren't in the rooms cleaning them, ensuring that our residents and patients have clean laundry and clean rooms and clean facilities. So there are sometimes, as a mission, a member of the team, we often wonder, how can we make a difference, because we aren't providing that initial bedside care. And the truth is, we can make a difference. We make a difference in how we support each other within our own departments
Right.
or other departments.
Right.
So my customers are my team members.
Right.
including the clinical team members.
Right.
So my customers are the ones that provide the care, that provide the administrative support, that helps enable our team members to provide support to our
Right,
residents
right.
and patients. So we sometimes forget that while we aren't at the front line helping our residents and patients, but in the back end, we have the capability to make a big difference as well. And it's understanding that you can go beyond your own comfort zone to provide support. That's really important.
Okay, good. So that story kind of brings that home to you, where it's a Jesus story that shows, okay, I'm outside of the community, right? I'm the Samaritan character, right? Outside of, back then it would have been a Jewish community, right? Because
Yes.
a Levite and a priest are walking by. They're kind of the inner circle of the Jewish community. There's someone that's been burgled, right? Who's part of that community, and someone kind of like from the health center is walking by
That's
and
right.
making a difference. Okay, very good, very good. Now, third question,
Sure.
last question.
Sure.
We're almost there, folks. Where do you see this alive in your department or
Sure.
in your world?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've been with the organization for over 11 years, and I've seen many, many examples. But I'll share a recent example. So I work at the LaSalle site, and my office is down a corridor, so I can often hear activities in the lobby area, our temporary lobby. And there was a time recently, I want to say in the last couple of months, there was either a family member or a patient that was in the foyer, and our receptionist was away from her desk temporarily, probably tending to something else, and I overheard an employee walk by, and the person, be it the family member or the patient, had a question, and the employee didn't have the answer. And rather than say, I don't know, and our receptionist will come back and help you, that employee went and sought the information from someone else. And it's about, again, the outsider. So while that person wasn't the receptionist and didn't have the information, she still sought the information to give it to the to the patient and or family member who is in the lobby. So this is just one example of things.
But again, it's a little thing that makes a big difference.
It does.
Because who knows what kind of anxiety that person is feeling. You're walking into a hospital setting, you're already maybe a little bit on edge. Because life has been disrupted, and there you go. Someone offered a healing gesture.
A healing gesture, as small as it was, it probably made a huge difference because that individual, had a question, and at that moment in time, the staff member comforted them by providing the answer that they needed. And that's the difference that our organization makes with our residents and patients. Again, those gestures don't need to be grandiose. They can be small, but they can also be outside our comfort zone. And it's okay to say, I don't know, but let me find someone who can help. So when I look at the Good Samaritan story, even though all those individuals who were part of his community chose not to stop for whatever reason, if one of those other individuals said, I can't help your wounds, but let me see if I can find someone who can, that gesture in itself would have made the difference.
Way to weave it together, Jennifer. A+ on you. So folks, think about the Good Samaritan story. You can find the Good Samaritan story, obviously, in the Gospels, right, in the Bible. You can find the Good Samaritan story at the beginning of the Health Ethics Guide, kind of that governing document that steers the way we do healthcare ministry. And it's at the front of our reflection guide. And so, Jennifer, thank you very much. I really appreciate you sharing with us and leading us down this road of healing. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to be here today. Thank you for inviting me.